Hey, Sales Squad. Welcome back to Sales and Business Growth for Entrepreneurs podcast. I am Lindsay Fletcher, your host, and this podcast is the place for small business owners to learn and implement sales skills, business growth strategies, and figure out how to better manage your time. If you haven't already, please be sure to hit the follow button on your podcast app so that you don't miss anything. Today, we're talking about a sales growth tool that I use in our businesses, and it's something that has helped us grow our business from $0 to multiple six figures, like as in multiple six figures in 2 years. Super excited to get this out into the world to you. It is my sales growth tracker. So to get this sales growth tracker, you're going to go to my website, lindsayfletcher.co. It is not .com. So lindsayfletcher.co/free-resources. So lindsayfletcher.co/free-resources. Or you can go to lindsayfletcher.co and click on the free resources tab and click on the first button. I believe it says sales growth tracker. You're going to enter in your email address, and then I will send you the link to download the sales growth tracker. So here's the deal with this tool. You don't know what is working in your business or what's not working in your business if you are not tracking what you are doing and what revenue you are bringing in. This is Pearson's law. Pearson's law states that when performance is measured, performance improves. When performance is measured and reported back, performance improves exponentially. And I know this to be true. This is something that I did as a part of my corporate America days when I was a sales rep and also when I was a sales manager. And I'm giving you the exact tool that we are now using in our small business and what I'm using in my sales consulting business with this podcast to know what is working. So I track things like social media posts, how many, not necessarily the individual posts, but how many posts I'm doing per episode. Where I'm sharing those. Am I doing a live stream? Am I networking? Am I doing the activities that are working? Am I avoiding the activities that are working? Or am I doing the wrong things? Because I could be doing the wrong things. You could be doing the wrong things. So I use this tool as kind of a game with myself too. I use it to see if I can beat my score from last month or last week and increase my revenue even more. So I want to go through the steps to using the sales tracker because I want to explain to you kind of how to tailor it to your business because I want this to be a tool that you actually use. So again, I want you to go to my website, lindsayfletcher.co/free-resources. You're going to click on the sales growth tracker and then enter your email. Once you enter your email, I will send you the link immediately to the sales growth tracker. Now listen, I'm serious about this. I want you to save it in a place that's easy to find on your computer or in your cloud-based, whatever you're using. I save mine in my Google Drive. I want you to hit pause on this podcast right now and go download this tracker. So go do that. Go hit pause. I'll wait. Okay. Number 2, I want you to open it up and I want to give you the lay of the land in this tracker. At the bottom, you'll notice tabs for each month. And at the end of the list of months, there will be a stats tab. Each of those months looks exactly the same, but the stats tab will be compiling what you enter in each of those months and then taking that data and putting it into the stats tab to have a quick month-to-month look at how many points you got on sales and marketing activities versus what revenue you brought in that month. Okay, so here are the steps to actually using the tracker. Number 1, you're going to download it and then you're going to open it up. Number 2, when you open up the sales tracker, under the months tabs, each of them are the exact same, by the way. So just click on the month that we're in now, which is September when this podcast episode is being aired. So you're going to take a look at the left-hand side of the sales growth tracker. This is a sample or example list of sales and marketing activities that you can do to set your business up for sales success. You can change this list to whatever suits your business, but I want you to take a look at the list that's already on there. There may be some items that you could or should be doing. There might be items that don't apply to your business. There might be items that you need to add to what you're doing. So take a look at the list and see if there's anything on there that needs to be changed or altered, maybe even slightly. Now you'll notice on each line item gets a certain number of points. Those points can also be changed. So I want you to incentivize yourself for doing the activities that work in your business. So I know, for example, that networking meetings is something that drives revenue for our service-based business and also my consulting business. So I give myself more points for doing that activity than I do maybe a social media post for our service-based business that may or may not get seen by, 1% of our followers. You can adjust the points that you give yourself for each activity as you go along, but keep it where it is for now. Add in the activities that you don't see listed that you do that you know that work. Or if you don't know what works, start with the list that's on there. And that leads me right back to step 3. So I want you to sit down and go through your calendar or your task list from this week to find out what sales and marketing activities you completed. If you're listening to this episode at the beginning of a week, you can start right where you are and start tracking today going forward. Or you can go through last week's activities and your calendar and figure out where to give yourself points and then put that into the tracker. The sales growth tracker will automatically add up your points for each week. So you don't have to keep track of how many you did on Monday, how many you did on Tuesday, how many you did on Wednesday. It will automatically do the math for you. I am not an Excel genius, but I do know how to do some basic formulas. And that is something I did in this sales growth tracker. So that total will be in the darker yellow box at the bottom of each week. That the tracker will then add up the totals of the activities completed, and then you'll put in your revenue in the line below that in the dark pink box or the hot pink box and from that week. And then it will take all of the data from that sheet, from that page of the tracker, and put it into the stats tab. So your revenue for September and your total number of points for September will be placed into the stats tab. You can use the tracker in 3 different ways. I like to track weekly revenue and weekly activities so that I can see if something new that I'm doing or not doing is quickly impacting my business, both negatively and positively, right? I want to know if I missed that one networking meeting that I was supposed to go to this week, if that directly impacts my revenue, maybe this week, or maybe it impacts my revenue next week. The second way that you can use it is you can track month to month to see if there is consistency in your marketing efforts and your sales and marketing efforts and whether it's paying off. So let's say you set a goal of a minimum of 30 points each week. So that would be, let's say on average, 120 points for the month. Let's say you had several months in a row there where you only got 90 points. And then you start noticing that your revenue the following months, if you maybe let's say it was June, July, and August that you only got 90 points, maybe you started seeing your revenue dip in July, August, and September because of the marketing activities you did not do or the sales and marketing activities that you did not do. So that's another way is you can track it month over month to see if the consistency in your efforts is paying off. Did you do a whole lot of activities and get a bunch of points in June, and then you see an increased revenue in July? Then maybe that's the formula that works for your business. The third way that I like to use this is I like to look at the whole year to see where my biggest months in activities and my biggest months in revenue are. And you'll probably start seeing some trends. In the example I just used, for example, maybe you hit 50 points per week of activities in July, and then you saw a big jump in revenue in August. Or maybe you only did 20 points per week in activities in July, and you saw an immediate impact in your revenue in July, and then August was even worse. So there's kind of three different ways. You can track the week over week, you can track the month to month, and then you can look at the big picture on that stats tab and look at month over month, what was the best number of points that you got, and did that correlate or correspond to bigger revenue numbers. All right, so that is the gist of how to use the tracker. This sales growth tracker will only work. It will only help you if you actually use it. So please don't let this be another file that sits in your computer or in your Google Drive or in your cloud out in cyberspace. If it never gets opened up, it's not going to help you. So block 5 minutes. Literally, this will take you 5 minutes to do. Block 5 minutes at the end of each week or on your first thing Monday morning to look at and fill out. I promise you, it will help you hone in on what's actually working. And it will also save you time by allowing you to hone in on what's working and what's not. Because if we're doing things that are not working, why do we keep doing them? For my ladies that listen to this podcast, it's like wearing a bra when you don't have to at home. Like, why would we do that, right? Why would you do things that you know don't work? So stop doing those. You can save yourself a whole lot of time if we really hone in on what works. And this sales growth tracker will help you do just that. I know that this is a helpful tool, and I would love your feedback on this. So if you have not downloaded it already, again, for the last time in this episode, go to lindsayfletcher.co/free-resources, free-resources with an S on the end, to download your free sales growth tracker to figure out what's working so that you can do more of the things that drive revenue and save yourself some time and energy so that you can do other things that matter in your life. Okay, that's it. Go download the free sales growth tracker on my website. All right, with that, I send you on your way, wishing you more time, more sales, and lots of business growth. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for joining me.